Welcome to the extreme 2000s, not the extreme 90s, but the extreme 2000s. In 2008, when Bob Weinstein wanted to separate from Miramax, he wanted to create his own division of horror indie, more adult centered, I'm assuming more mature content, teen romances as well, without the restrictions of the MPAA and in theater studio. And direct to DVD stuff was huge. Direct to streaming stuff is huge nowadays, but once upon a time it was direct to DVD, and this label was out there along with like After Dark Films and things like that. And Lionsgate had their own kind of division. They still do. It's called Vestron, I think, is who they own nowadays. I believe that's their indie label of like the Waxworks and Waxworks 2 you'll see through them and stuff like that. One of my favorite vampire movies is coming out through this horror indie label called My Best Friend is a Vampire, coming out in July, which I want to talk about one day. But anyway, here we're to talk about a 15th anniversary of a Kelly Riley, not too familiar with, and Michael Fassbender, best known as Magneto in the X-Men films, and David in the somewhat problematic alien films where stupid scientists do stupid things. um and we're going to talk about Eden Lake, which is, Katie, seems to be one of your favorite anniversary films, as you really wanted to talk about this.
Yes, this Eden Lake is one of those films that I think is a hidden gem, in the same view as like Mungo and a number of other films. I personally watched this because of a little streaming service that they had through Comcast called fearnet.com, that introduced me to the Hamiltons and Devil's Backbone and a number of like international horror films that, if I honestly, if that had not been on and an offer on cable that I could watch different, I would not have seen this, and I would not have seen some of my what end up being some of my favorite films. I believe even Session 9 may have been one of the reasons why I was able to see that, was because of fearnet.com or something like that. It's one of those things that it went away, and I was very sad because I really liked what they had. But Eden Lake, yes, starring Kelly Riley, who many people will know now from Yellowstone, as Beth.
Oh,
Yes, she is Beth Dutton, I believe, in Yellowstone. I honestly think that this performance in Eden Lake, this and Beth Dutton are my two favorite. This one, I think she does an amazing job. I'll talk more about that. And Michael Fassbender, as everyone knows from, I mean, Oscar-nominated films, Shame, 12 Years a Slave, Steve Jobs. I mean, he's gotten a few Oscar nominations. He's been all over. He's done, as Chris said, the X-Men films, and I know he's doing something that's coming out soon because it recently was at Cannes. So hopefully we'll see him in something in a minute. And a very baby, I don't think this is his first movie, but Jack O'Connell, who is in this. He plays the antagonist Brett. People may know from it was Angelina Jolie's directorial debut. He played the lead character in that, and he was most recently in Lady Chatterley's Lover. Interesting enough, the first film that I saw him in, I see his penis. The second film, the last film that I've seen him in, I've seen his penis. So it's nice little bookending right there for Jack O'Connell. But these are the three that after this film, I think their star power just skyrocketed out of here. Now, this is directed by James Watkins, written by James Watkins. It's made in 2008. I'll get into why I like it very much, but I'm just going to tell you about the whole film. It's Kelly Riley plays Jenny. She's a school teacher. You see her with her class, like shaping little minds. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's this beautiful school teacher. Steve is in his car waiting for her. They're going to take a trip. He has a box. It lets the audience know that he's going to propose to her, and she's completely unaware. Foreshadowing happens when they're driving to their destination, where they talk about the unruly youths of the country, how, the parents don't know what to do, but it's like blaming the parents for the outcome of what the youths are doing. I think that's great because I wish that would happen a little bit more often. It's very subtle. If you don't hear it, you may not, I mean, you'll understand at the end, but it definitely, again, bookends kind of a thing. They get to a little town where Steve used to go during the summer. It's changed a lot. It's changed since he's there, but it's one of his favorite places. Immediately, they see the rudeness of the locals. There's kids running around. It definitely, even at the beginning, it's what I call I always like to say that's my birth control for the day. And this film is very much is a birth control film for me. Watching this film earlier when in childbearing years, it definitely was one of those like, yeah, I'm fine. I think I'm good not having kids. Like these, yeah, these kids suck. And you also see how a little kid is like being really annoying. He's small. He's like 8, and the parent just smacks him across the face, open hand.
Oh yeah.
Not something we are used to seeing in this day and age, and honestly, not something that we should be used to seeing in any day and age. Like, there's ways to discipline kids. It's not necessarily like that. We then get to Steve and Jenny. What I love about Watkins' script that you definitely get a feel for these for this couple. Like you automatically like are on their side. They're lovely and stuff, and they go to the lake. It's pretty. It's cute. They set up. She understands why he likes it so much. They're going to tear it down and making it into condominiums. They're laying on the beach, just trying to, have a nice day. And then the sixth youths come in who kind of ruin that. Now, before this, when they're walking to the lake, they do meet a child who, I think these kids are like maybe 15. They're not that old. They're still riding bikes. So they're not like 18 or something like that. He's by himself. He's collecting. His name is Adam. He's collecting bugs. He plays a kind of a key part later on in the film. He's a loner. His mom works. He doesn't really have any friends. When they're at the lake and the six youths come, Adam is not with them. Adam is definitely a outsider with all the kids, and they start to pick on him and beat him up. And Jenny kind of feels bad and wants to do something, but at the same time, what are they going to do? At that time, you get to see a beautiful Rottweiler named Bonnie who slobbers and barks all over Jenny's face. Great, great kids, great dog. Steve tries to be a man and says, hey, watch your dog, turn down the music, all that stuff. These kids are just dicks. They're just horrible. It's like, and at that point, it's kind of like, okay, we'll see how this goes. They go to get some dinner into town. While they're leaving, a bottle is carefully placed behind their tire and it goes flat. Awesome. It's obviously the kids that do it. They go into town. They're eating dinner. They talk to a local waitress. And they talk about how, these kids are unruly. And then she clearly gives him a glare. It's like, not my kids. It's like, well, we don't say they're your kids. And she like, not my kids. That right there, again, is another foreshadowing that it's like, look, whatever happens, you need to get out of this town. Because if you're looking for help, it's not going to be here. I like to call that local law. Whatever happens, if you're in an unfamiliar place, get to some place out of that place, no matter where it is, because you're not going to find the help. They stay the night at a local place. They go back to the lake. They stay the night there. They're just having a good time, lovey-dovey, all that stuff. And then they realize that their bag that has the keys, the wallet, everything is gone. The youths, led by Brett, who is Jack O'Connell, they have stolen the car. They almost kill them by running over them. Steve just tries to find them, and they find them. And Brett is like, they have some like caged animal, and they're like doing animal torture on it. And when I say they, I don't think it's all of them. But I mean, let's be honest. It's like if you're part of a crime, you're an accessory. Like no one's stopping it. No one's trying to help the animal or anything like that. So it's obvious like these kids, either they're going to be accessories, possibly going to crime, or they're like the leader, Brett, who's a complete sociopath and probably going to be a serial killer in the future. Steve says, hey, just give me my stuff. I won't say anything and all that stuff. Somebody pulls a knife. They try and beat up Steve. Steve like takes a knife. They're struggling. The dog, which name is Bonnie, comes along. The knife hits the dog and the dog dies. Now, this is always something that I love when you started a fight with this person. This person defended themselves with the weapon that you brandished. Then that weapon ends up turning on something that you love, you admire, anything like that. And they blame Steve for this. After that, all hell breaks loose. Like they're going to kill Steve. They're going to kill Jenny. Jenny and Steve end up getting the car. They end up wrecking the car. Steve gets stuck. Jenny runs. She comes back to see Steve like barbed wired and all like against a trunk. Each one, Brett decides to have each one of the boys take a knife or take a box cutter and stab Steve. While they're doing this, the lone female of the group, who called Steve a perv and a dickhead because he said she was looking at her tits, she is filming this on a little teeny flip camera and stuff like that. That, if you have it, if you want to go back in time and look at some history, yeah, phones were like this big. They were this teeny tiny, and you like open it up, and it's like, yeah, that's part of a time machine. So each one of these boys, they are being filmed, and Brett thinks that since that's happening, then he can't be charged and all that stuff. Dude, don't try and work with the law. Like all these kids are so stupid that they go along with this. In any case, Jenny tries to get help. It fails. She runs away and is like going after something. All the kids go after her. Steve gets away. Jenny and Steve meet. She tries to save him. Throughout this, Watkins does an amazing job showing the terror, showing exactly what is happening without showing too much, which I think is a very it's a skill that not many people have. Like I've especially recently with films where it's like they just show like so much stuff going on without showing like the meat of what has to happen. Like you don't have to like have all this stuff going on to like really understand, like get the basis and the faces of people and their feelings. And I don't know, I just think Watkins does an amazing job writing this film and directing it. Very good, excellent job with the new kids, which I can see.
This is, by the way, a Blu-ray you can find at the dollar store for $1, FYI.
Really? Which I can see. Jack O'Connell is a little rougher around the edges than James Spader and the new kids, but definitely I can see kind of the same thing. By the time Jenny is running, they capture Jenny and Steve. They have them tied to a log. They pour gasoline all over them. By that time, Jenny knows that Steve is going to propose. It's very sweet. And it's like, you're really rooting for this couple to win. You really are. It's like, okay, it can happen. They can actually make it. Like it can really happen. It does not, because spoiler, Steve has bled out. Steve has been stabbed so much. They set him on fire. Adam, the boy from the beginning, he runs into Jenny. Jenny's like trying to get help. For some reason, Adam thinks that these guys are going to be his friend. And this is one of the flaws in the film. Like everyone's going to this lake and stuff. This is 2 days later. It's not like this is the same day that all this stuff is going on. So not only was Adam like bullied and pummeled by these kids like a day or two before, but now he's trying to like be in the gang. And if he brings Jenny to them, he's going to be in the gang. Well, being in the gang means that he's going to set Steve on fire. And he does. But when they do that, Jenny wakes up, and apparently everyone has like a moral sort of like, oh my gosh, she's awake, which whatever, you guys are evil. She gets free. And then what do? They then set Adam on fire. And again, Watkins' directions, Jenny is free. She screams at what she sees, like on top of the hill. You see down below fire of Steve, fire of Adam with his head and a tire around him and his feet just what. So you don't see like all the nitty gritty, and you don't need to. Again, Watkins does an amazing job with the direction and the cinematography to frame where those scenes need to be. Another thing that I love about this film, the music is very subtle and beautiful, like orchestrational music that really goes with the feel of the film. Jenny ends up killing two of the kids, one with a knife as she gets free, one by stealing a car and hitting the girl who's been like taping all the stuff and has just been kind of a dick. Lo and behold, she's got the car, she's free. She has been through the ringer. She's like covered in mutt and feces and just grime and blood and just everything that you can possibly imagine and just stink. And she is going to town. She runs into a car. She runs into a house. She's asking for help. The people in the house are helping her out. And when she wakes up and like asking for when she's asking for the police, there's a giant Rottweiler that's getting into her face, and the Rottweiler's name is Clyde. Yes, if I mentioned that the Rottweiler before is Bonnie, Clyde is the matching Rottweiler. So what does that mean? That means that these kids, this is the house of the kids. And what does that mean? It's not good. It's not good, because then the parents of, they're all friends, all the kids, all the our parents are friends too. They get a call that someone got hit by a car, so they're like blaming her. Brett, who's the mastermind and all that stuff, he comes, he says it was all their fault. They take Jenny, they put her in the bathroom, and the last thing that you hear are just her screams of terror. And again, Kelly Riley has an amazing voice. This is amazing. You don't see what she's going through. You don't need to, because it's got to be absolute hell. She already went through God knows what in the bathroom, but we already saw what the hell she went through before. And this is nothing compared to that. Brett is mad that he doesn't get to see what's going to happen. His dad smacks him. So we understand where, Brett's sensitivity and empathy comes from. He goes upstairs. He has the girl, Paige's phone, who is like, taping everybody, and he proceeds to delete everything. Again, people didn't realize you can still, in that day and time, I think you can still like track those phones and all that stuff. And then the last thing the audience sees is Brett like deleting his phone. He looks in the mirror. He puts on Steve's glasses that he had stolen before. He takes them off, and then he just looks right in the camera at the audience. And this is only the beginning for him. While that's going on, you can just hear the blood-curdling screams of Jenny from downstairs. James Watkins, he did a Black Mirror episode called Shut Up and Dance. He didn't write it, but he directed it. I thought he did a great job with that. I don't feel like he's done that much since then. Kelly Riley has gone on to do True Detective and a number of other films, but this to me, I think, is her best performance. Like, I just think she is absolutely amazing. Beth Dutton, I mean, she is my spirit animal. I love her in Yellowstone, but this one, This one I think she's just absolutely incredible. Michael Fassbender did an incredible job. You know, you really feel for Steve. Do they make dumb mistakes? Yes. I mean, just leave. Just leave while you know it's not going to go well. I mean, this is much like, you know, speak no evil. Just leave. Stop trying to be like, well, we were here first. Like, who cares? They live here. It's local law. It's very much French horror. No one wins.
I
You're
don't
not
under I didn't
going.
understand that at all. It's just like the writers just forcing them to stay because the script demanded it. It was just like,
No,
good God,
be,
just leave. You
but
guys seem like you have like decent money. You could like just, you know, if you rented this place or whatever, lose your deposit and just go rent someplace else that's not filled with a bunch of hicks.
it's not. But that's the thing. There's no money involved. It's more his like ideal. It's like, this is where I had these beautiful memories. This is a beautiful spot. This is where I want to start this life with my beautiful girlfriend to be my wife and all that stuff. But it's that, you know, that stubbornness that is going to get you, ends up getting you stabbed and ends up getting you killed. And that's it's like, just go. You don't have to go, because like I said, local law, you're not going to win it. This is like very much, the ending is very much French horror. No one wins.
Yeah, like
And
what's the one with the girl with the short haircut and the chainsaw on the cover, and you find out at the end of the movie who the killer is, and you're like, oh,
high tension.
yeah, just like that.
Yeah, and that's why the ending of this film, like, it's sort of a slow burn, because you like really get in, you really want to feel for, the main thing is that you really want to feel for Jenny and Steve. Like, this stuff is happening to them. Why is it happening? Like, why do I care? Because these are decent people. These are good people, and these kids are not. And then you find out that their parents are not. And you know, this breeds whatever it breeds, and it's not going to get better. And they end up paying the price. But yeah, for 15 years, you know, watching the ending and just hearing those blood curdling screams, like, I rewatched it to like, because I mean, basically, I memorized everything. The one thing that I thought I totally forgot about is when they go into town to uh, repair the tire or get lunch or something. They see the bikes that the kids, you know, rode on, and they he goes inside Brett's house. Now Jenny was inside, so she doesn't understand this is necessarily Brett's house, but we as the audience do at the end. But it's like, come on, dude, what are you doing? What do you think this is going to accomplish? Like, you think you're going to like have a man-to-man talk with, you know, an adult to adult talk with Brett's dad about how much of a jerk his son is? That's not going to happen, bud. I mean, you just broke in. You just walked into a house. Like, that's breaking and entering. Like, no one invited you. That was kind of a dumb move to me, but I think they needed the audience to see that, so that you see like what Brett's house looks like at the end. So when you think that it's like, okay, Jenny's going to be fine, all that stuff, then you realize, oh no, it's still going. Oh crap, this is actually even worse than it could have been, because now, instead of these like little punk kids, now you've got twice as many adults who are going to do twice as much harm.
Mm.
I just think this is an effective film. I think it's a great film. I think it stands the test of time. I love, like I said, I love the fact that I never even, like, when I'm going through and seeing like her dress that's we see, that is white, has little flowers by the end, that is pure gray because of all of the grossness that she has on it. I think it's amazing, and it's nice to see, you know, Michael Fassbender in an early role, and baby Jack O'Connell. So this is one of my favorites. I say watch it, love it, see what you think, and comment and let us know.
It's not a film you see a lot of people talking about, especially at the height of Michael Fassbender's public career with the X-Men films and Alien at the same time, which are really happening at the same time. That this film was mentioned at all, or it was, I don't remember. I just don't remember maybe hearing about it or seeing it. So it was it was this was what, 2003? No,
2008.
2008. Okay, so and yeah, 2018, the last Yeah, that last X-Men movie came out, Dark Phoenix, and that Alien movie came out like a year before. So again, nobody was thinking about it for the 10th anniversary. But hopefully this is one that gets revisited. Maybe we'll one day get like some kind of like collector's edition release. Dimension, Extreme Dimension put out a lot of these films, some good, a lot of them bad. Um, but this one is definitely worth checking out. And like I said, it's very recommend. I had lot of recollections to Slumdogs and the new kids. Slumdogs, either the
Mhm.
remake or the original with Dustin Hoffman. Just this unrelenting uh force of I guess you could call it evil, but just like antagonistically annoying people that go from being annoying to murderous very quickly, which is like what happens in the new kids. Unlike in the new kids, though, everyone comes out of that pretty much scot free and happy ever after for all the people we love in that movie. That movie had a very like, oh, that was an adventure we had. Hey, let's open the carnival. So that's a film I recommend trying to find as well. I don't know if that's on streaming, but this is streaming. This is streaming on Tubi or free.
Tubi and Roku and a few others. So I
Oh, it's
mean, it's
free.
free. Yeah, it's free. So there's no reason not to check it out.
Yeah, definitely
And
check it out. Smart TV will have it with the app. So through Amazon Prime or however you want to do. Tubi, definitely check it out. And definitely check out the rest of the reviews here on the Radio Horror YouTube channel. I believe the next horror movie coming up in theaters we're doing is probably going to be the new Insidious. And we'll have to see what else is coming.
there's another one like Wait Until Dark or Watch What You Say, something like that. I'm seeing it on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I'll have to try and find that. Next thing I'm seeing is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So we'll see. Getting all Indiana Jones stuff for it in costume and everything. So Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
my hero.
All
I
right.
will we will also have other anniversary reviews later on in the summer. Don't forget again, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, and check us out on our individual Facebook pages, The Blonde in Front and Radio Horror. Have a good night, everyone.